Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to my channel. In this video I'm going to talk about two different ways you can structure your to-do list. And this is something I think a lot of people should consider. If you look at it in the big picture, there's two fundamentally different ways you can organize or structure your to-do list, okay? Both seen on a daily basis, but also on a weekly basis, okay? Let's have a look here. So, what most people do is on one day they will list the tasks like this. Gonna work on area A, B, C, D, and E, or task A, B, C, D, and E. But usually each task represents an area of your life, okay? That you're gonna develop and make progress in. So, this is the normal way of structuring a to-do list. I call this the vertical structure. But there are actually people who have been studying this a lot, and they say there are strong benefits of choosing something that I call a horizontal structure, where you spend a lot of time in one area before you shift to the next area. And I'm gonna link to a book in the description. It's called The Effective Executive, and this book is really good, and he is one of the guys, the author of this book, who has found out there are some real benefits to working in a horizontal structure. And then in the end of the video I'm gonna talk about a mix between the two that I just call the hybrid structure. But now let's talk about the benefits of the horizontal structure, and then after that we will talk about the benefits and disadvantages of the vertical structure, okay? So clearly it's almost a no-brainer that the benefit of working on one task for maybe several days in a row or many hours in a row is that you're gonna spend a lot of time where you're really deeply focused. I don't know if you've heard about flow state or the state of flow, where you're in a workflow where you're so focused that you forget about everything else. You don't have your mind drifting left and right. You don't check your Instagram. You just feel like you're fully engaged, like you almost become one with your project. And this is where real progress is made. And in this work state, it's almost as if you don't feel like you're spending energy. It's just as if you're on a roll, like you're on rails in your workflow, so to speak. So this is a clear advantage. Another advantage of working on one task for a long time is that you don't lose time between swapping from one area to another area. What can happen when you swap from task A to B is that in between you're gonna get distracted and you're gonna get carried away about something. Like for example, if you check your phone or something, there's gonna be a lot of stuff that suddenly sparks your attention, and then you're just gone from your workflow for the next half hour or even a few hours, you know. So that's another advantage of working on one area for a long time, that you don't suddenly lose time. Now let's talk about the disadvantages of the horizontal structure. So clearly you will kind of neglect some areas, which is a disadvantage. You will maybe even lose touch with some areas of your life or your normal work. Another disadvantage of the horizontal structure is that you don't develop habits as well. So let's say you want to develop a new habit by doing something every day. It's very important that you do it every day if you want to make it a habit. So you don't establish your habits if you don't work on them every day. So that's another thing you should consider. Okay, now let's talk about the vertical structure. And as you can probably sense already, this is the one I like the most. And one of the main reasons is that all of the disadvantages that we just talked about from the horizontal structure, they become benefits of the vertical structure, which means, first of all, you will develop strong habits by doing things every day. Another benefit, of course, of the vertical structure is that you really stay in touch with each area of your life or your work or your business. And by working on each area every day, you can almost say you have a callus principle working for you. Like when you go to the gym almost every day, you get like calluses in the palm of your hand, which means that the discomfort of lifting weights is something that will become less uncomfortable when you do it more often, and you will kind of become numb to the discomfort and it will become normal for you. That way you could almost say that you expand your comfort zone by doing something every day, especially if you put the most uncomfortable tasks. This is something I like to do. Put them on top of your list. We're going to talk about that in the next video I'm planning to make, about 5 factors to consider when you organize a to-do list. So by doing something uncomfortable over and over again, you kind of become numb to the discomfort and you expand your comfort zone, and you can even learn to love something that seemed very difficult in the beginning. It's really good to keep in mind, and one of the ways of doing this is by doing something very often in a vertical structure. Then of course the disadvantage of the vertical structure is that you spend less time in the deep flow state where you make a lot of progress, or where you can make a lot of progress. So that's of course a disadvantage. You could choose a third option, which is a mix between the two, which I also really like to do. This third option, which I just call the hybrid structure for this video, is taking one area of your life where you really want to make a lot of progress. Then you just decide that you're going to spend most of your time that day or each day on this particular area of your life, and then you're going to just spend a little bit on the remaining areas of your life. Like that could be like 4 hours, and then we have B, C and D. You would spend less time on those. So by working like this, you would get into a deep workflow state when you're working on the task A, and then you will still not neglect the other areas of your life. A guy that I really look up to is Tim Ferriss. He really talks a lot about the horizontal method. But for me, I would rather work on the hybrid version. So I develop the habits of working on each project every day, and I don't neglect any areas of my life, and I stay in touch with each area of my life. Those are the clear benefits of the hybrid version. So you have the best of both worlds here. I hope you like this video about how you can structure your to-do list or your workflow, and I'm excited to hear if you have any other methods that are fundamentally different. I would love to hear about it in the comment sections. If you have a different way of doing this, I'm sure people will be happy to hear about it, including me. So thank you for tuning in to my channel, and remember to subscribe and click like. See you on the next one.